Today's video is about sales motivation. My name is Corey. I make these videos as a documentation of my sales experience. And hopefully by the end of this video, if you're struggling with staying motivated in your sales career, sales job, honestly, just life in general, hopefully by the end of the video, you kind of have like a different understanding of sales and, kind of gives you like a new idea as to keep on pushing forward with it. So I got 6 main points. I'm going to elaborate on each one. And the first one is the biggest one. This is my motto that just kind of keeps me going every single day. And that is, life is sales. I always tell myself that if you can't do well in sales, then you simply just can't do well in life, because sales is just a accumulation of certain traits that just breach into everyday life. So these traits that I typically think about are punctuality, perseverance, persuasion, consistency, work ethic, discipline. Whenever I see like a dip in my sales performance, it's typically one of those traits kind of lacking behind. And the best part about it is that those traits are extremely fixable. You can always get right back on track with it. So if you can only take 1 point from this entire video, honestly, this is the most important part. Is just keep on reiterating to yourself that life is sales. If you aren't doing well in your sales job, you shouldn't really expect to do well in business and in life in general. My second point is about job security. So something I learned from a guy on Twitter, his name is Lindy Man, and that's the different type of spaces. There's payoff space and there's consistency space. So consistency space is your typical 9 to 5. You got your doctors, engineers, lawyers, HR, secretary. It's just like you kind of show up to a job at 9 o'clock, you work for the full 8 hours. It's only 2 hours of real work. And you go home at 5 o'clock, your day is done. Go ahead and practice your hobbies and then come home, come back and do the same exact thing. And they do all that for like a little steady paycheck. And then there is payoff space. So payoff space is business owners, sales jobs, commission-only sales jobs, where your income or whatever output is a direct reflection of your performance. So the difference between payoff space and consistency space is that payoff space typically has more job security, just because of that added fact that you're not truly an expense. So if you think about like HR, you think about secretaries, you think about lawyers, like whatever it may be, you are an expense to the company, because what you're doing isn't bringing such direct revenue for the company as much as a salesperson is. Now with a top sales rep, or a decent sales rep in general, they bring in a direct revenue for the company, so it doesn't really make sense to actually fire that type of person. And this is the exact reason why top sales reps do not get fired, because it's practically saying like, hey, I don't want more money from my company. And then when you see like all these current layoffs and these like widespread layoffs, it's typically because people are getting paid a lot more than what they bring in. And businesses just pick up on that, and then you're gone. You have to find another job and then just do something different. But when it comes to sales jobs, they're very high in demand. Every company needs a good salesperson, because that's how the company thrives and that's how the company survives. So elaborating on my second point is that if you want some more job security, or you're currently in a sales job right now, just know that keep on going, keep on sticking through, because it's going to just set you up for life. It's going to put some food on the table, get some money for you and your family, and just keep pushing with that, knowing that, you're pretty stable where you are, unless you're not doing too well. So number 3, it is network. So think about sales, that you really get paid to consistently meet new people on a daily basis. It's the one job where this just consistently happens. Like, like in a 9 to 5, you go to the same workspace, you kind of see the same people every single day. You might see some new people from time to time, but you don't really interact with them that much. When it comes to sales, you are directly talking to people on a day-to-day basis, and you're learning more about them. You're seeing like where they work, what they do, you get their contact info, and honestly, it's the easiest way to get paid to expand your network. Now, personally, I don't really like care about what people do or talk to people about what they do and everything because I'm more focused on the sale. But if you're somebody that's looking to really expand your network and you want to get paid to do it, sales jobs is the best opportunity to do it. So another motivator for kind of keeping your sales job and keep on going forward is that, hey, you build a pretty large network that could also set you up for life as well. Expanding on this next point, and that's number 4, and it's that 1 year could really change your life. So whether you're in debt, you're in a rut, you don't really know what to do with your life, like whatever it may be, just one high effort and really any sales industry can completely change your life. Just a personal story, I was in some pretty deep credit card debt. Well, by like average standards, it wasn't that bad, but it's the fact that it was debt. And just literally 1 month in my sales job, that shit got completely covered, completely wiped. And then the examples, if you're in student loan debt, high effort at a sales job can completely wipe that out as well. I believe that it is so much easier to get out of debt when you're in the payoff space versus the consistency space, because when you have such a fixed income that is just very consistent with it, it's very hard to kind of like cut back on your lifestyle to pay off credit card debt. I think that's why people really end up stacking more and more and more of it, because the only way you really pay it off is by literally cutting back on the nice things that you already like to do. But if you're in debt, that could be the easiest motivator for you to just do well in your sales job. It's like, hey, I lock in this 1 month, bro, I'm debt free. It's one of the best things that you could do for that. Now, another point is that literally anybody can do it. Like, you don't even need sales experience. You don't need a degree. You don't need any type of certification. Like, anybody can just pick up a sales job, work their ass off for 1 full year, and then completely change the trajectory of your life. And honestly, you don't even have to be in debt for it. You could just have some type of investment plan where you want to invest into a certain coin or invest into some certain stocks, and you just need like a large amount of money for it. Bro, sales jobs is the easiest thing that you could do to really change your life. But me personally, it took about maybe like 3 months for it to completely change the trajectory of my life, along with like moving to Houston and everything. But honestly, just 1 year definitely change your life in this shit. So, that's my 4th point. My 5th point is that you're making doctor figures without a degree. So, this is the one career where you could really make as much money as a doctor and even more without having any type of schooling. It's like one of the craziest things that you actually think about it. So, here's an example, right? If you're 18 years old and you pick up a sales job, let me give a little back context. So doctors, I really don't know how long they've been in school for. I'm sure it's like a very long time. I think it's like 10 years or something like that. But let's just say a doctor is in school for 10 years before they get out and they start their actual career, right? They start school at 18 and then they go until they're 28. At 28 is when they start actually making real money. And I really don't even know how much they make. Let's just say like maybe 200K. Let's say they make 200K at 28. That's when they start making 200K. Then they have to pay off all those student loans that they have. And they don't end up getting paid off until like their mid-30s, 40s, maybe even 50s, right? If that same person, that same 18-year-old started at 18 and picked up a sales job and then worked until 28, sure, they might not be making 200K at 28, but think about how much money they've made over those 10 years and the skills, the network, and everything that they've developed. And guess what? At 28, they have no debt at all. And then from there, they're stacking money all the way past 28. And they don't have to worry about any debt, as long as they're spending their money right and everything like that. Literally just that, I was thinking about this morning, but like just that one fact, it's almost like, why doesn't everybody do this? Like, You could get so far ahead of the curve if you simply just started at 18 and just worked your ass off for the next 10 years. You're actually making money during that time. You're living life. You're actually doing stuff. But when I was thinking about this morning, I'm like, it's almost like one of them things that's just like, bro, what? But that's kind of like another point that I was trying to make is that doctor figures without a degree, lawyer figures, engineers figures, you can really make way more than these people. And all you're doing is just not sitting, but depending on your industry, you're just walking around talking to people, you're calling people. Like all you're doing is just speaking to people and you're making more money than these like high status figures. And like a little bit of a bonus point that I wanted to make is that when you're rich, right? Let's just say you want to get rich through being a doctor, engineer, a lawyer, or you want to get rich through sales. You have to realize that sales builds a certain type of character that's a lot more attractive when you're rich and when you're older. You might experience this, but you might experience kind of being around certain people in like elevated positions and they kind of treat you like they're better than you, like they're above you. And they're like very cold, they don't really want to be around you. Like they have like their very cliquey friend group. But when you talk to people that made their money through the payoff space or through sales or through business, you realize that they're a lot more down to earth. They're a lot more relatable. They'll talk to you. They'll speak to you like you're on the same exact level. And I guess that's like another motivator about getting rich through sales versus getting rich through an accredited program. But I finished on my fifth point, and just to wrap things up is that you need to realize that sales, there's endless opportunity in learning. So another thing that I was thinking about before getting my first sales job is that I was really comparing it to fitness because that's the original route that I wanted to go down. I wanted to be like a personal trainer and study fitness and kind of expand, basically help people out through the fitness scene, right? But one thing that I quickly realized with fitness is that there's a very, very short ceiling on fitness. Like there's not really much you can really teach. There's not much kind of happening in the industry. It's like, okay, just eat less and move more. Like that's the basic foundation of it. There's only so much like exercise science behind lifting weights and cardio and everything like that. So I was thinking about sales, and it's like, when it comes to sales, the highest ceiling is world domination. Like that's the end of sales skill. The end of sales, or I guess the most skilled salesperson in the world, could get anybody in the world to do whatever they want at any time that they want. So until you get to that point, you have a lot to learn about sales. But even if you're lost, you don't really know what to do, just pick up a sales job, learn that skill, and just keep on going forward with it because there's always something to learn in sales. Like nobody has a 100% conversion rate. So until you're at that point, there's a lot to learn, right? But that wraps up my video on just some sales motivation. Hopefully you kind of have like a new understanding, like whether you're doing door-to-door, you're doing cold calling or whatever it may be, and let this kind of like change your perspective to kind of keep you going and really keep you motivated to just keep on pushing through with sales, because this is kind of like my mindset with sales. And it's honestly just this big part right here. And I'll never forget that. I'll say my two main points is life is sales, and my last point would probably be like the end of sales is world domination. So it's kind of like just a continuous learning environment, continuous moving forward. But yeah, other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.